So the next thing that we need to talk about is a interesting piece of case law in Canada between a billionaire named Michael Latner and a lady named Lisa Clemens. I don't know. I covered this 3 years ago, maybe 4. At the time when I covered it, I sent the video to my family lawyer. When I was done with it, I said, hey, what do you think? Did I miss anything here? And then we got lunch and he's like, I watched it and you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what happened. So I'm going to summarize the Latner Clemens case. These people didn't even live together. So this one's even more screwed up. So the title of this video, let me share it up on the screen here. So the title of this video, which you can go find on I think it's on the Entrepreneurs in Cars YouTube channel. Yeah, it's on my Entrepreneurs in Cars YouTube channel. The title is No Home, Marriage, or Kids, Yet a Man Pays $53,777 for 10 years. So this couple never lived together. They didn't buy a house together. They didn't have children together. And they didn't get married. But Latner is responsible to pay her $53,777 for 10 years. What does that work out to? I bet it's over $6 million. 53,777 times 12 times 10. Yep, $6.4 million. Excuse me. $6,453,240,000. This guy is paying this old lady for the next 10 years of his life. I think there was a stand-up comic that said something like this at some point. You said, no pussy is worth $6 million. Anyway, there's a video. You guys can go watch that. There's the case over here. So I'll just I already know this from the back of my hand, actually. So just to sort of recap it, I'll share some visuals, but I read the case law on this one as well. Mandel. So here's the couple. This guy's actually not a multimillionaire. He's from a billionaire family. So let me see here. Michael Latner net worth. So he's worth, Canadian Business Magazine pegged the Latner family, so it's a family net worth, so it's like a rich family, at $1.12 billion, making them the 93rd richest family in Canada. So this chick got her meat hooks, this broad over here, she got her meat hooks into this dork several years ago, this billionaire. And they formed a relationship, and they didn't ever get married. They didn't have a ceremony. They didn't ever live together under the same roof. Like, they never combined households or blending families. They were both divorced. He had kids, she had kids. What else didn't they do that should be considered marriage? Those would be the main things: having a ceremony, a commitment, buying a house, or having kids together. So they never had kids together either. So she was old. I mean, as you can see in this photograph, she's not a young woman. So past her prime, unable to bring him any more children. But he decided to get into a relationship with her. So here's where it got sticky, because the definition of a de facto relationship in New Zealand is basically as they define there. And remember, case law and laws can change over time depending on what cases are brought before the court, what the court thinks is important, whether or not they like you. There's all sorts of factors that come into play. So I think this guy thought that he was being smart. Another guy that thought, what could possibly go wrong? I'll just do things with this chick that look like we're married. And he did. So he bought her an engagement ring. Oh, here it is, 7.5 carat ring. Okay. 14-year relationship. He flew her on his private jet to Florida, up to the Muskokas, which is cottage country in Northern Ontario. Beautiful houses. Kevin O'Leary has houses up there. There's lots of hockey players up there. There's lots of actors that have houses up there. They're big. Like they're $6 to $10 million properties on average on certain major lakes up in Muskoka. It's a very popular vacation place in the summertime. And what this guy did was he flew her back and forth. Yeah, here you go. Palatial. It's called a palatial Muskoka cottage. And what he did was he flew her and her kids back and forth on his private jet to Florida, to cruises, to Muskoka, on vacations and trips, put a 7.5 carat ring on her finger. What else? Proposed multiple times and paid for all of her expenses. They had dinner together regularly on several times a week. Let me just see if there's anything in here that I might have missed in my original one. No, this isn't even very complete. Here, I can close this. This is what she looks like today, by the way, making $50,000 a month. Present, share screen. So she's taken the $50,777 and opened up a yoga studio, of course. One Tiger Yoga and Power Vinyasa and Yin Yoga instructor. This chick looks like she's had her face pulled back or some work done, but that's what she's done with the money now. But they so they traveled together. There was photographs shared on social media talking about their relationship and their commitment. Obviously, you know, when she got a 7.5 carat diamond ring, that's photographed and shared on social media. They had dinner several times a week together at his house with the kids in tow. He obviously spent a considerable amount of time. And one of the problems that I came across in that piece of case law is that he was spending more days a week. So there's 7 days in a week. So he was spending on average more than 4 days a week with her and holding out to the public that they were living in such a way that looked like marriage. Even though they never had a ceremony, even though they never lived together, even though she never brought him any new children. But because he spent so much time with her, took care of her, ran the expenses, took care of everything, when that relationship ends, and I said this years ago in a talk that I gave at an event, if you get together with a chick and you've got, you know, the yoga Pilates instructor, whatever, she's down over here in your Latin or billionaire family, and she's like, oh, I like this guy, and then they get together. Now all of a sudden her lifestyle is up over here. She's now enjoying the Muskoka cottage, the private jet, the vacations, the expensive dinners. She's not paying for shit. I wouldn't be surprised if he leased her a car. This is all pretty typical standard sort of stuff. So her lifestyle goes from broke yoga instructor, divorced mom with kids in tow, maybe not even making ends meet, who knows, comes up to here, and then they break, and then the relationship ends, and then she goes to her lawyer and says, well, what can I get from this guy now? And then, of course, lawyers, because, you know, the pricks that they are, they start looking for shit, asking for evidence, and she starts to present it, and then they form the case. And the argument that they created was, even though they never officiated a wedding ceremony, she was taken care of in such a way that he treated her like a wife, even though they didn't live together under the same roof, even though they didn't have a ceremony, and even though she didn't bring him any new children. She's getting $50,777 for the next 10 years of her life, $6.4 million and change. So again, it's not just living together that can be a problem. It can be living together in such a way that looks like marriage, even if you maintain your own household. So if you're a chick that maintains your own household and the guy's paying for everything and it's being held out that he's paying for everything and there's a ring exchanged, and you stack all of this thing, like all of these sequence of events together over 10 years, because this is what women push men to do, right? Like women push men for commitment. It's understandable. If they didn't, our species would flop. It would fail. We would not exist, right? Women have to select the best provisioning male that they can get. That's what hypergamy is. If they didn't do that 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, it would spell certain death for her. She couldn't find losers. Women have to find winners when it comes to long-term provisioning. Short-term doesn't matter. They'll bang anything. I was drunk. He was hot. It was the Cancun foam cannon party. 3 Italian guys ran a train on me because they were cute. I don't care, whatever, right? Like no accountability. But when it comes to long-term, now we have to make sure we find a guy with sufficient provisioning. Now we start you know, well, all my friends are living together and I don't know if you're going to trust me or where this is going. And this is just so difficult for me. And what if you leave me one day and I don't know? And guys are just like, okay, whatever you say, baby, just move in. Because we're fucking dorks, right? Because we don't have a backbone. I'm the one that's telling you to pay attention to these things. I'm going to say it again. You can live with a woman. Sorry. You can love a woman without living with her. Are you guys unplugging and seeing the code in the matrix now? Are you paying attention here? I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here. And pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.